What's up, everybody? Sockswayup's back with another episode of Chillhorn. Today we're going to build a ski resort. We're going to get that ski resort going, but at first we're going to learn a little bit about Snowfall. When I was playing around with the cinematics for the intro, I discovered why the roads aren't covered in snow. Well, it's because I had the weather turned off, so it's unable to snow. It's not filling the roads with snow. It can't. Who would have thought? But yeah, so we're going to play around a little bit with this DLC and learn a little bit about it at the beginning of this episode. Then we'll transition over to building the ski resort out. I got the assets downloaded. We can build the ski slopes. We can build the ski trails with assets that change the buses into skiers. It's a pretty sweet asset pack. It lets us really turn the mountain into a ski slope, and I'm super excited to see how that turns out. But first, we're gonna play around with this. We're gonna upgrade some of these pipes. We're gonna see what happens if we do give the warm power, the warm water to these houses. Does it make a difference? I think we're already learning that when it does snow, that's when the snow plows actually head out of town and they actually pick up the snow from the roads. And there are some buildings that we wanted to unlock, but we can't unlock those until we fill up a snow dump according to the game. But now that we know how to do that, it shouldn't be a problem. We'll probably keep the weather on more often in the game so that we can utilize more of the features of this DLC. And for those of you who haven't used this DLC and maybe you're watching this series to maybe debate buying it, so the boiler room and the hot water works similar to electricity. You can see up on the bar there we have a heating availability. So we have to lay down enough buildings to produce the hot water to get it out to all the citizens. And then you have to upgrade every single pipe. If you miss one in a connection, the hot water will not flow through it, which kind of makes sense. I guess it would be like a dead end for that hot water since they do want warm water and hot water going to these houses. So I played around with it for a while, couldn't figure it out. I wish there was a way to push a button to just upgrade an entire row of pipes, but I couldn't figure that out. If anybody knows of anything like that, let me know. That would be very beneficial. But you can see we play around with it for a while. They're not happy. And this is where I start learning a little bit about you gotta pay attention to the ones you upgrade. It might be even more beneficial to just use those pipes only when you start the city. I wish I could remember when it unlocked. I don't know what milestone that was. I don't remember seeing them at the very beginning. But here we also added some power. We had to get more power going into the city so that we could, keep things powered. So that's some of the stuff that we're doing here. I won't bore you with all of my struggles with getting these pipes and figuring out which ones I didn't upgrade. I guess that's the right word, upgrade. But yeah, I'll let this go a little bit, let you see what I did. It doesn't really, from what I can tell, change much of the happiness. I think it's just a feature you can play with if you want to. They didn't care about not having heat until we upgraded the pipes. Once we upgraded the pipes, this little warning icon popped up. So again, I guess it's a cool feature to make it realistic. Do you need it? I don't think so. But I'll catch you on the other side of this playthrough. Alright, it's ski resort time. We're gonna learn this as we go. We're gonna start with our ski lifts. We're gonna get those rolling first. Build out probably the first path. We're gonna have multiple ski paths. I don't know what they're called. I've never been skiing. Maybe I should have gone skiing or did some research. But yeah, so we build out our first ski lift here, and I play around with the assets just to get to know them and figure them out. You gotta have them point the right direction to begin with, and then if you just connect them straight like that, they sink into the ground, which is really strange. So pay attention to that. The way I got around that long term, you can see here, is I raised up the terminal and then I deleted all the wires. And after I had both of the terminals at the right level, for whatever reason, I don't know why, but the game puts them underground a little bit. If you're not using Move It, I had no clue how you're gonna do this. But then I start from up here. You can see now the lines are lining up correctly. They're not sinking into the snow, which allows us to bring the ski lift wires and path all the way down to the other terminal and get people to be able to get up to the ski slope to head on down and enjoy the ride. And then we connect this last one up. We had some power from the little town, paid no attention to the ski resort below. I didn't like it. I redid it later on. That's why I didn't show it first. But then, we got these things powered up so that we can then learn a little bit more about the mod. Here I was trying to find these little power boxes. They're underground power because I didn't really want power lines up there. That works out really perfect. If you don't have that mod, check that one out for sure. Here's a little sample ride. Looking perfect. Let's move on. So the next thing you want to search for is, I just searched for ski and then found it. It's your ski staging. So that's where you're going to stage the beginning of your path for your, I guess you're using the bus, sightseeing bus tours. So you want to stage one of those or use the staging there, and you can start seeing I'm building my path with the ski trails. The ski trails acts as an actual road, so you don't have to worry about adding dirt roads or anything with this mod. You can just use the ski trails to get people to and from the ski slopes. And unfortunately, the ski lifts are just for looks. They're not actually functional. Kind of disappointing. It would be really cool to see, skiers drop down from the ski lifts and then head on down the slope, but that's not really how it works. I didn't know what I was doing at first. So you can see here I am laying down some dirt roads, trying to connect the paths, figure out how to use these ski spawners. So this is something that I struggled with, and I decided, you know what, let's just figure out how it works and then we'll make it better afterwards. And so I did. I played around with the roads, decided, you need the roads to connect. It was a little bit of trial and error, but I eventually figured it out. Long story short, what we do here in the future of this video, and we're gonna edit it so it's not too confusing. And here this was a mistake. I tried to use just a regular road as a tunnel. That's not what you want to do. What you actually want to use is the ski trails. They have an underground asset. So what you do is you bring it down to the end of the slope where you want the slope to end, and then you transition that into an underground road with the actual ski trails assets, because it is a road asset. And then when you get back up top, you do the same thing. You bring it, like I did with this road, you bring it above ground and you connect it to your staging area. And then at that point, you can use bus stops to then, build the bus line to transition people from the top to the bottom. And we'll jump into a little live play to kind of show you exactly what I ended up with for the ski slopes. All right, so this is not going to be the final product, but I wanted to kind of give you an idea of what it does look like when you use the mods or I guess they're assets. It's not really a mod, but these assets correctly. At the bottom here, let's start at the bottom. Let's jump out of this. So if we do go, let's grab a road so we can go underground. So you can see right here, we have this underground tunnel, but it's actually, if you go in to find it and you search for, actually, I'll show you where it is in the actual menu. So you go to roads, and over here, there's a little winters and parks and plaza tab that shows up. It's ski trails. So it's actually a ski trail. This one's still confused and thinks it's a bus. We'll have to get that fixed. We did an underground tunnel matching the ski lift, kind of going upside with it so that you can kind of mimic that they are on the ski lifts. And it's pretty sad that they aren't. So he gets here, he's gonna switch to a skier now. And of course, now that I'm trying to show it, here they come. So that was the bus finally getting out of cycle. So we got a skier here, and they're gonna go down the ski slopes. He's gonna wait his turn, just like the buses do. They kind of act the same as the buses. And then it goes. Oops, that's the wrong button. We wanted to show you. You can see, yeah, you can just follow them down this slope and this path that you created. So the idea I'm gonna, kind of go with next is maybe flatten out an area here to create a second drop off. kind of mimicking maybe the bunny lift type thing, but then maybe even do that straight out from here down, have like a short little slope for the beginners to kind of learn what's going on. And here's a little view at ugly ski resort. We're gonna redo this. I don't like it at all. That's coming up next, so let's transition to that for you. All right, let's get this resort going. You can see the street layout that I did prior to hitting the record button. Silly me, forgot to hit the button. But we replaced the existing roads with this new little structure down here that I think turned out really neat. I'm really glad that I went back and redid it after I got this done. So here we start out by laying down a snowman park, and then we're gonna build a parking lot around it. I kind of came up with this idea of filling this entire space with things. You know, we wanted to detail it, we want to get it going nice, but here we come in with some parking lot roads, and this is going to be where the main attraction, not the main attraction, the main ticket office, the main building of the park, where people will come in, they'll check into their cabin that they're staying in or the house they're staying in. They'll get their ski tickets, their lift tickets, they'll get everything they need for their weekend or week at the resort. And this entire area right here that we're building is going to be somewhat of an entertainment, probably the daytime entertainment for individuals that aren't going up the ski slopes. And I thought that was a cool idea. I thought, you know, you get this area that is away from town, that your families get to come into, they get to visit, we get to hang out, we go skiing, we get to play with snow, go sledding, maybe do some curling, which you'll show later. And then there's going to be a different area that's going to be dedicated for entertainment at night. And then there's also the area on top of the mountain for skiing. So I split this into multiple parts, and we're not going to finish the ski slopes in this episode. We're going to come back to that next episode, and you'll see why towards the end here. But yeah, so we're getting this parking lot going really nice. Gonna then start adding in the trams, which I think is just a natural feature to add. I mean, I believe they were introduced with the Snowfall DLC, and to be honest with you, this is the first time I'm using them. And they turn out perfect for this scenario. This first line that we're creating, this is going to be our staging area for people going up to the slopes to go skiing. Again, next episode, we're going to finish that out. We're going to build some paths that allow them to walk up there and have a good time in that direction. And then we're adding in the first stop here. We realize, gotta let the tram come back around and loop up to where the stop starts. Since it runs on that line, it has to have a continuous line to finish. Now we're gonna go up the other direction. This area here is gonna be the nightlife of the ski resort. We're gonna add some buildings up there again. We'll get to that next episode as well. I really wanted to focus on the main area on this one, but I wanted to get the infrastructure laid down for sure. And you can see it gets its own dedicated line. We tried not to get them to cross, but they do, and it shouldn't be too bad with traffic. I don't ever expect traffic to be too bad in this area, so we should be able to handle that fine. Now it's time to add some attractions. So we added the cross-country skiing there, and then we're gonna use the fire pit, which was a really cool feature. I built a road or a pedestrian road into a little square here. So then put the fire pit in the middle of it. And as I lay down these snow assets, you can see the idea of this being for a family area where the kids maybe aren't old enough to ski. There's plenty of things for them to do that don't involve actual skiing, a lot of entertainment for them. And we're gonna keep that trend going. This could be a self-contained area where you come for your vacation and you don't even have to leave this little district that we're building. And we go with some detailing here, adding in a little more trees to fill the area up so that it looks complete. And here we decide to add a little sledding hill there. That's an asset that comes with Snowfall. Again, that's the idea. The kids aren't ready for skiing. That's a perfect opportunity for them to still have a blast while they're on their vacation in the snow. And we kind of filled in with some rocks and a little bit of detailing. Not really happy with the way the rocks layer in Snowfall, but it ended up being okay, I think. One of the things that I'm going to try to figure out is how to add some color and some pop to these areas when I detail them. I think some signage might be what I need to download, maybe some advertisements and things like that, because the trees are just very consistently either there's snow on them or they're dead. But we move on. In this little area, we use the pedestrian paths again, or the pedestrian zonable roads, and started adding in some cabins and lodges for people to stay at. Kind of thinking of the bigger ones that we add in here as maybe the more expensive ones for the families that have a little bit more money. And then we throw in the little ones as well, or smaller cabins for smaller families, maybe they don't need as large of a space. Was trying to fix the zoning on these zonable roads, zonable paths, and my bus stop kept messing up. Eventually we fought through it. That was what was happening there, but here we go. We laid down some cabins, gonna put them out there, and you can see the larger one, the little lodge there, would, what we're thinking is a larger family coming in. Maybe they're the rich people of the area. Maybe it's a bed and breakfast that has multiple houses or multiple rooms for multiple families to stay in it. Use your imagination. But that's what, again, we wanted to have this area contained enough for people to not have to leave, have everything that they need during their little vacation in our ski resort that needs a name. And that brings me to the question of the day. What should we name it? Anybody have any ideas? Let me know what the ski resort should be called. It could be Chillhorn themed. It could be sock themed. It could be anything that you come up with, maybe based on the look and feel of it. But I'd definitely love to hear the ideas and get some input on that. And we can, rename the district or rename the park area after the best idea that we get in there. And here I decided that the main building didn't have enough pop, enough detail to it. So we had a planter and a couple trees. And then we mix it in with the ski stands. I lay a couple of those down, as you'll see here. And then I grab a couple of the skier models, and I thought of them as kind of mannequins in the front there for some advertising. It's pretty obvious what you can get inside that building. And this next area that we're gonna build in is it is by where the trolley maintenance building, or the main building where the trolleys or the trams come out of. And I wasn't sure at first, but then I started thinking about how the constant thing I keep saying of self-contained, and you don't have to leave the area. And since this is a small little tiny resort area, I think people would be understanding. Maybe those ones aren't as expensive as the other ones, who knows? And then the ice rink. We can't go without that. So we put that down, the skating rink, and we build some paths around it. Use Move It to tighten it up a little bit, and then detail around it. And it's, again, this whole area we're trying to detail it, bring it in, finish it off, and then we're gonna get to the nightlife next episode. And at this point, I'm gonna let the time lapse play out. Hope you enjoy it, and I'll catch you at the end. wanted to kind of give an idea of what's to come next episode. This area, we're going to build a train station that brings people in from out of town, potentially to the ski resort. And this will be our little staging area for people going skiing. And up here is going to be the nightlife of the ski resort. I'm excited to see how this turns out. It's going to be a great opportunity for us to turn it on at nighttime and see how all the different lights play out into this area, this new area that we're finishing up. So we're also going to add multiple slopes here. We're going to have the bunny slope, the diamond slope, the medium, the hard, the easy. We're going to add like 4 or 5 other ones, maybe 4 total. Overall, I'm pretty happy with the way the unnamed ski resort's turning out. My first playthrough with Snowfall and learning these new assets and figuring out how I want to lay them down. I'm really honestly proud of myself for not settling for the first road layout and the first design that I came up with. I took a step back and looked at it, and I just didn't like it at all. And I stared at the screen for a while, and I looked at the river, and I thought this would be a great place to start and have a base for the ski resort. Hope you guys enjoyed it for sure. It was a blast to make, and I think the city's coming out nice. I hope it's helping you guys bring in the holiday season. If you're enjoying this content, hit that like button. I'd appreciate it a ton. It would help out the channel. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. And also, if you're interested in seeing me build a city live, I am starting to stream on Twitch 3 days a week. Head on over there, look up Socks Way Up. The link's in the description. They have a pretty cool feature called a schedule on there where you can look at the streamer's schedule on the planned streams, and I do have that updated. I plan on keeping that updated moving forward. But again, thanks for joining, and I'll catch you on the next episode of Chillhorn.